Hello, my friend. Today, I am going to be talking about C-section belly bands and 3 common mistakes that are made when using them. My name is Jeanette Yee, and I am a C-section therapist. And after spending all these years helping hundreds of C-section moms, these are the 3 biggest mistakes that I do see that actually can cause more discomfort, more pain, and might even bump back that recovery, make it a little more prolonged than need to be. But let's talk about C-section belly bands in the first place, right? After you have a cesarean, there's a ton of swelling that's happening inside your whole abdominal region. Like it was a surgery after all, right? So when we're concerned about things like the C-section shelf, like that overhang that we see in our bodies, the weakness, that pain, just like the lack of confidence of like, oh my gosh, I don't think my body's even connected. C-section belly wraps can help big time. This is why we want to use them. And as an athletic therapist by training, compression is one of the biggest things you can do to help yourself in the earliest days of recovery. So I'm talking definitely in the first 1 or 2 days after surgery. After C-section, easily up to the first 2 weeks. Okay, so we're looking at C-section belly bands to be used for, when I work with my clients, up till the first 6 weeks, and then slowly weaning yourself off after that. All right, so let's talk about the 3 biggest mistakes that I see. And if this is something that you find incredibly interesting or helpful, please hit that subscribe button. Okay, and there's so many different belly bands out there. So I am not married to one particular belly band, but I do want to use these for examples of how not to use them. And caveat, this is not by any means me saying, this is not a good band. I'm trying to show you principles of ways not to use a band, any band, okay? Because there's literally hundreds on the market. Okay, issue number 1, the most common mistake is we use the belly band too tight. We wrap it too tight. So what does that mean? So when we put on a belly band, this one's an interesting one. It wraps around the back, it goes around the front, and then it kind of Velcros back here. Here's the challenge. If it's too tight, and I'm not saying it's too tight on me right now, but if it's too tight, here's what you're going to feel. It hurts. Instead of taking away the pain, it actually causes more pain. It can cause more pain anywhere in your surgical area, in your lower back, right? These are the most common places. But what else can it do? It can cause a symptom of literally, it's so tight that it's preventing you from taking regular sized breaths. So what I'm doing right now, so let me just do this. I'm gonna make this way too tight, and it's obviously too tight. Look at that. Okay, so what does it feel like? It hurts, but also not only can I not take full breaths, and after surgery, you're already feeling like you can't breathe properly. This will make it worse. What else? So if there's too much pressure here, your intra-abdominal pressure is going to be pushed up and downwards. So another symptom is going to be too much pressure in that pelvic floor. And especially if you had an emergency cesarean after laboring for some time, your pelvic floor has already gone through a lot of strain, right? So that can actually cause even further hindrance on your pelvic floor recovery. And honestly, you've been pregnant already for 9 months. Your pelvic floor is already under a lot of stress just from pregnancy alone. So we really want to make sure your C-section belly band is not too tight. All right. So that's how you know if it's too tight. Now, how do you actually, you know what? We're going to use this again. The second most common issue is that the belly band is, it's in the wrong spot. It's in the wrong spot. And that seems kind of strange. She's like, well, I know exactly what my cesarean is. Like, it's right here. I can see it. I'm going to cover it. But here's the thing. That is only one of 4 incisions or cuts that the surgeon has made on your body. And you want to make sure that you are in fact covering all 4 incisions, and not only that, but an entire zone. So what I want to show you is where the incisions are, and then I want you to make sure that you're covering that in your body, okay? So for the most part, incisions are going to be horizontal above your pubic bone, close to your pubic bone though. Okay, so you got to cover that with your belly band. The next, and we don't see this one, is the next horizontal incision through the myofascia, otherwise known as the covering of your musculature. And that you can't see, but it's in the C-section shelf overhang area and can feel pretty tender even weeks and months after surgery. So you want to cover that with your belly band as well. The third incision is through the linea alba, and that is your diastasis. So you know how after your cesarean, you're like, wow, I feel so weak. Not just painful, but like weak. I can't get out of bed. I can't get out of a chair. I can't get off the toilet. Like literally the left and right sides of your abdominal musculature is like not connected. It's cut through. Okay, so now you can see there's a zone. Oh, that fourth incision, in case you're wondering, that's through your uterus. Okay, so your uterus is actually down here when it's shrunken back down, but the pregnant uterus starts up here, right? So it's a zone. And if we go three-dimensionally, all your incisions go right into the middle of your body. Okay, so you got to cover this whole surgical area with your belly wrap. And like I said, error number 2, most common, is that this surgical area isn't covered. Oftentimes what happens is that just the external incision is covered, right? So it might look like this, and this is a wider band, so like sometimes we have thinner bands, but then look, the top of that linea alba incision, that's not covered. So now what happens is the swelling gets pushed out where the wrap is and then into where the wrap isn't. And so now I'm going to get a pocket of swelling here. And then if I'm not down past my pubic bone, I'm going to get some swelling here. And where the swelling is where that pain is going to start accumulating. You're going to feel tenderness. And if you're someone who is concerned about that C-section shelf or that overhang appearance, that's preventable in the sense that if your wrap is too tight and too low, look, if I ended my wrap here and that secondary horizontal incision is not covered, I'm only going to accentuate that shelf, okay? Because that incision is at the shelf, the overhang, okay? So how do I fix this? I gotta cover the whole thing. I want to go down below, past my pubic bone, and up to my navel. Past my pubic bone, up to my navel. And I got to go hip to hip. For the most part, all wraps go hip to hip, right? But look, I can rearrange it so that it covers it. So now this is covering at the very minimum my surgical area. Ideally, you're covering right up to the top of your abdominal wall, okay? All right, error number 3. The third most common mistake is this. That it rides up, right? It doesn't stay put. So let's say you got all of the, this is a different wrap. So this is a wrap that wraps around just one time versus the other one, which wraps around the front and then back to the back. Okay, but this one is different. It's got like a upper and lower Velcro. One isn't better than the other, my friend. Every body is different. So you're going to need to shop around to make sure you find a wrap that's good for your body. Okay, there is no singular ideal wrap. Okay, so here's the thing. All right, so, okay, hang on. Janette said not too tight. Okay, it's not too tight. Oh, okay, I know because it's not like, actually my pain is a little better. I feel more supported. This is good. I don't have extra pressure down or up. Okay, I've got my whole zone covered. Oh, not my belly button. Okay, I got the belly button covered. Okay, pubic bone. All right, all right. But then what happens if you sit down? Okay, I didn't do it. But you sit down and then it rides up. It rides up and then suddenly it's not compressing your surgical area anymore. It's no longer helping push that swelling out of the area so that you can heal better and faster. It's actually maybe even compressing the wrong spot, like up here, and not down here where your surgery was. Okay, so now it's pushing, again, swelling downwards, right? Maybe it's a kind of wrap that's like flipped right up. And listen, a little bit of rolling up isn't a bad thing, but because this wrap actually stays pretty snug. So let me just do it the way that I would. Did you see that? It didn't ride up. That's awesome. It did fold up a little bit in the front, but that's normal enough for a belly band or a belly wrap, okay? In another time, in another video, I'm going to show you different options for C-section compression or C-section belly bands, and it's not a belly band. All right, so friends, if you found this to be helpful, I want you to put down into the comments below exactly what was helpful for you in your preparation or your early recovery from C-section. And then also, if you have questions, pop them below, okay? And let's make sure that you get all the answers you need. Hit subscribe on your way out.